Welcome back to Community Matters. I'm Bill LeMay. The topic today is volunteerism, and our next guest is Heather Leah, a.k.a. the Blue Beacon. There should be superhero music. Welcome to the show, Heather.
Hey, thank you for having me.
All right, well, that is a superhero name. When did you first discover you had superpowers?
Well, I think everybody has superpowers. Everybody has the ability to make a difference in the community, and that's really what I'm trying to illustrate with this project. I started the project at the beginning of May. Basically, I'm doing a superhero for a month volunteer-a-thon, kind of like a walk-a-thon. For every day that passes, I will volunteer for a new cause, and then I'll highlight that cause on my blog using the power of storytelling to raise awareness for causes people can volunteer for. And I'm also raising money, just like in a real walk-a-thon, for a nonprofit organization.
Well, your writings are great. I mean, it's very
Thanks.
creative. It's a lot of fun to follow the exploits of the Blue Beacon. But
Thank you.
What inspires you to do this? First off, to create the character, but also just to get involved. I mean, that's a commitment.
Well, several years ago, I also went on a road trip around the country doing volunteer work, and I wanted to do something similar, but I don't have the means right now to travel, and that is a lot of time to go out for 3 months and do volunteer work. So I thought, well, I'll do something local. And I thought, well, what would be interesting for people to read about and experience locally? And I wanted to volunteer for a new cause every day, and I thought if I did it as a superhero, it'd be a little more entertaining to tell about it. And with my blog, Candid, I try to harness the power of storytelling in general, even before this project, to get people involved in the community and see what sort of causes out there that they could be passionate about.
You've been on a lot of adventures in the past month. Why don't you tell us a few of them? Are there any that stand out?
Sure. Well, actually, my very first day, I volunteered for an organization called Note in the Pocket. And everybody asks what Note in the Pocket is. It's an organization that helps children who don't necessarily have all the clothing they would need for school to be successful. Their story is great. Basically, there was an elementary or a kindergarten teacher, and she noticed her children didn't have coats. And so she went out with her mom, and they bought coats for everyone in her class, and it just expanded from there. So I started there on Wednesday, the 1st of May, and they treated me like a superhero from the very beginning, and that was very exciting for me.
It is amazing, isn't it, to see the impact that kind of generosity can have on individuals. I was reading your blog, too, and you were talking about how you were a little bit nervous going to some of these events, one in particular, the rehab, the Rex Rehab.
Yes.
Why?
Well, it is a little nerve-wracking when you first start volunteering, and it really does depend on the place. As Amber said earlier, volunteering, there's an experience for everybody. And I went in, and I don't know anybody, and it's my very first day, and I'm dressed up a little funny. And that could be a nerve-wracking experience. But in the end, you start to make friends, and people get to know you, and you make community contacts. And every nonprofit I've worked with has been a success story of people who did stick their neck out, and they did something a little strange to make a difference, and then it just blew up on them, and they found a huge need, and they started filling it.
Well, and you also talk, again, in your writings about the folks, and I believe it was at the rehab, especially the elderly and folks, and what it means to have someone like you, or anyone, quite honestly, who volunteers to spend a little time. Sometimes it's nothing more than just talking, isn't it?
Oh, yes. With Rex, I went in, and it was very strange. I had to just walk in and knock on people's doors and introduce myself and tell them what I was doing. But a lot of them were really receptive. They were like, "You're volunteering at a new cause every day for a month? Tell us about that." And so I had a story right off the bat that I could talk to them about. And, they were all very excited to see me next time I come.
You also went to the Raleigh Rescue Mission. I know a little something about them as well, which is a wonderful organization. But there, again, you're interacting with people who sometimes are, they feel alone.
That was a wonderful, wonderful experience. I went there, and I don't know anybody, and I'm not sure how I'm going to be received. And I met this wonderful volunteer. It was only her second week there, and she had just wanted to volunteer every Monday and start trying to make a difference. And the people there were just wonderful and kind and grateful and gracious. And I mean, every person I met, they'd come back and say thank you. They even applauded because it was my first time volunteering, and it really makes you feel special to be appreciated. And that's something I think people need to know, that when you go out and make a difference in the community, you often get a warm reception, and you get something back for yourself too. It's a two-way street.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that, because I know you're a wonderful, generous person, but there is something you take back. And I'm wondering if you can, and you already sort of have, for the folks that are watching us this morning, what you've taken away from this personally.
Well, one, it's been interesting to be a superhero. I think most people as kids, they want to grow up and be a superhero. And so I thought that's fun to tap into and tell the story of what it would be like to live every day. So I'm working full time and I'm volunteering every day, and then I come home and I write the blog. So it's a very, very full day. And I even have to change into my superhero outfit in the bathroom at work and then rush out to my car. And
no phone booth?
No phone booth, unfortunately. And I have to run past the kids because I work at a school. And it's been very exciting. It's been very invigorating to come home each night knowing that I've made a difference and to connect. Oh, I've connected with some wonderful people. There's a high schooler that's started reading the blog. I don't even know how she found it, but she's fascinated with the Blue Beacon. I've even attracted a supervillain to argue with me. But he's also trying to encourage volunteerism.
So with the short time that we have left, is there a message you'd like to give to our viewers who are just getting up this morning or sitting on the couch and maybe they have their whole day in front of them?
If you think you don't have time to volunteer, trust me, you do. I'm volunteering every day on my lunch break for May, and I'm finding a way to make it work. And I know that everybody can get up and make a difference. And it can be scary, but when you reach out, honestly, you do make an impact.
Well, Heather, I thank you very much. Thank you so much for what you're doing, and hopefully someday you'll get a cape. You deserve a cape.
Thank you.
So thank you, Heather, for being here today. And we'd like to thank all of our guests for joining us today, and thank you, of course, for watching. We hope you've learned more about how you can volunteer for charitable causes in our community. And if you have any questions or you would like to know more, just visit our website at myrdctv.com. I'm Bill LeMay. Thank you so much for watching Community Matters on MyRDC, and we'll see you next week.